Hey there, it's Steph. Welcome to the Stef Fox podcast.
Hey there, welcome to the Stef Fox podcast. I am Stef Fox, and most of my podcasts have a counterpart with me. I usually bring on a guest, but today I was just thinking about giving a little update on some things I'm learning in my doctorate, some of my own awarenesses and practices in life right now in this season, and just kind of generally talking about what it looks like to be a leader. Kind of maybe leave you guys at the end with some things that if I were you and I were a leader right now, what would I be focused on based on what I see with clients, based on my own experiences, and based on research? So I think to kick us off, let me start with, for those of you that don't know, I am currently in my doctorate and I am studying organizational leadership. So I'm looking at what does it take to run a team, kind of at its most dialed down format. And if you've never encountered a doctoral program, holy cow, oh my gosh. I thought my master's was a lot of work, but now I am doing a doctorate while having 2 kids as a single mom and running a company. And so I'm learning some lessons that I think I thought I already learned. So lessons in time management that now have just had to dial in that much tighter. Lessons in priority and mindset, which again, thought I learned those, but when you put yourself into a stretch, you really have to lean into the skills that you've already learned and applied, but they have to kind of take themselves to the next level. So lately, what I've been really thinking about with this is in January, I started classes for the semester that I'm in. And kind of the way that it works is I had 2 classes together and they were I think they were 10 weeks or 12 weeks long. And then there was a break. And then we started like the next series of classes. And so now I'm in first part of it, I was in 3. Now I'm in 2. One of the ones I'm in right now, though, is the statistics class. So I don't know about those of you listening. Statistics is not the thing that makes me feel excited about life. It is not something I'm passionate about. In fact, I imagine, like most of you, it is something that makes me cringe and gives me a little bit of hives and stress, even when I was thinking about kind of going into the class. And so I had to really get a hold of myself to prepare for, not only am I in a very busy professional season right now and a very busy momming season, but now I'm going to be in schoolwork that doesn't necessarily come easy to me. Work that does come easy to me, writing, reading, research, love, love, love. Especially the cool thing about a doctorate program is everything you're writing, researching, and reading is applicable specifically to your work. So that's been really cool because everything I've been doing has been able to line up inside of leadership and a lot under professional beauty. But so as I've been in this statistics class, which I think I'm about 4 weeks in now, number one thing I'm very surprised about is I have an A. So I'm like giving myself a shout out and a clap for that because I had definitely settled on if I get a C in this class, I am good. And if you don't know me, you might obviously follow me online. You could probably guess about me that I'm not the person that typically says, sure, I'm good with a C. I'm not really an average kind of player. I am for sure an A player and have always been academically in the A category. So I'm pretty proud of myself for dialing in and getting an A, learning something and really, really stretching in a way that feels very, very hard. But also I'm seeing the outcome of a positive grade in that. And so thinking about kind of the season of life I'm in right now, I have a son in travel baseball. If you are a parent and you've ever played in a travel sports league, you know that is lots of time commitment throughout the week. I have another son that's in soccer, and so he's got 2 times a week that he's got a commitment. And then I am traveling a ton. I mean, just actually coming up, I'm leaving today for a trip in Knoxville, and then over the next 3 weeks, I will be in Houston, Toronto, and Montreal. And so it's a pretty hefty season. And gosh, I have a consultant in my own business I'm working with right now. And so I say all of this to say that the time management piece is a systems element of leadership that is what allows me to actually do all the things that I'm doing and not be working constantly and not feel burnout. So I have been able to put my calendar together in such a way that I am working ahead on homework. I'm working ahead on assignments from my consultant. I am prepared if I need support for getting a child to some sporting event or if I have to be the snack mom. I have intentionally plugged in all of my gym time because I know if I don't work out, oh my gosh, I'm going to crumble under all of this. And so I want to take it back up just one layer for a moment. If I'm a leader in a company right now and I'm thinking about what would I be doing if I'm in a busy season. Number one thing is the way you perceive and think about that busy season. And so here's my kind of hack for my current season, especially this season of this statistics class. I am looking at this like a sprint. And so I actually have to coach myself every single day. I sit down with my journal in the morning. My faith is really important to me, so I spend a lot of time in prayer and my Bible study in the morning. And then I get my gym routine going and I get my mind and body moving. And then I really get focused on actually writing out affirmations around, this is a sprint. You chose this. This is temporary. This isn't forever. Anything you can say to yourself that will help you recalibrate the tension that the extra kind of priorities and stress are placing on you will allow you to show up differently for the people that you lead, including inside of your own family or at work. And so I kind of have this daily practice where I'm like, look, you've got this. You're doing great work. You're getting an A, you have your schedule planned out, look at this other thing you get to celebrate, you had a cookout with friends, you took time off, you are 2 weeks ahead on assignments, whatever it is. You have to find the reasons to actually get your head around celebration, gratitude, and optimism, or you go into the systems part of the work and you are either bow out of them because your head isn't in it, or you could do them half-ass. And I'm like, again, as I shared earlier, like I'm not really a half-ass player. Like I want to be an A player. So I know that if I get control of the systems, it allows me to actually function and kind of operate in the leadership style that I want to operate in, and just keep my life like where I need it to be. Now, inside of this little framework that I'm building for you, so mindset and systems, there is kind of a middle. Think of the cream and the Oreo between these two things. And that's your knowledge base. So if you're a leader who finds yourself juggling a lot of things, priorities between professional life and home life, you have to have the knowledge to build the systems. You have to have the knowledge to carry the right mindset. You have to have the knowledge to be able to get yourself to the place that you need to be in. And then this is where great coaches come in, myself included. I have a coach that helps me stay accountable to these things. When you have the knowledge, you can put that knowledge to work and implement. So if you're somebody that's in a season of life where you're feeling like, this is hard, why do I do this? Or it feels too heavy, I want to do this, but I don't want it to feel this way. If you're that leader, I want to invite you first in some mindset work. And I would say my best recommendation for you is to sit down, kind of make a mind dump. I like get my journal out and I just kind of go with, what are all the things that I'm feeling right now? And I write down the emotion, like label it: overwhelmed, stressed, scared, tired, happy, joyful, like everything. And most of us have that mix of emotions. It's not like just one emotion. So write down all the emotions. After you've claimed the emotions, I make my next kind of mind dump around everything that feels like it's an overwhelming thing for me right now. Like it feels like too much. And I do not gatekeep this. I just plop it down on the paper. And then the third thing that I do is I ask myself, what things feel like a top priority? And the way I kind of bracket this is I ask myself, if I got these done, they would make some of these emotions that are on the negative side go away. And when you make that list, you can quickly start to see like, oh yeah, if I actually prioritized this third list, these actions, I could get to more of the positive feelings in the feelings. I could get to the place where I'm executing differently, where I feel better about the work, and where the outcomes are happening. And so I do that with any kind of regularity that's required to get my head into the right place. And to be honest, you guys, like sometimes that is every single day. This is mindset training. And you have to have the knowledge to know how to do these things. So that would be my first recommendation, is get your head right, because then you can start to drop into systems that help you keep your head right, that help you stay encouraged and capable and really ready to carry a lot of things. Because as leaders, we typically run with very high capacity, and we have a high capacity available, but we fill that capacity. And so we're like running at capacity a lot of times. And again, for me, some of this is unavoidable, right? Like my school classes right now, I didn't get to pick when stats happened. If I didn't take it when it was available, then it kind of pushes back my graduation, and I don't want to do that. So I had to just decide, you chose this, you can do this, get your head in the game, this is a sprint, and then get busy working on the system that made sure that I was capable of doing the work and not feeling overwhelmed and not tipping myself over. And so I would just encourage any leader right now that's in that place of like, wow, this is hard, to think about, how's your mindset looking? And what are your practices for getting it right? What kind of systems do you have in place to ensure that you're not procrastinating, that you're not lacking discipline, that you're actually doing what you know needs to be done? And then what's the knowledge gap that sits in the middle and kind of is that cream in the Oreo between either of these two things that you really have to fill? So in my world, one of the things that we really focus on, in fact, our top offering is that developmental work for a leader, where we want to help you understand how to self-regulate and what operationally it looks like in your systems and what it looks like to develop other people so that those systems don't rely fully on you. These things all go together. This is what we teach in the Leadership Lab, and it's all rooted in research. And that's what I think is really fun about it. I can tell you what I love is when I ask people what they're getting the most out of the program, the top answer at the halfway point is absolutely the way that I feel. And you guys, that is the very first thing that has to shift for you. So I love when I get that answer, because as leaders, when we can learn to, I call it kind of get control of what's in us before it leaks out, whether it leaks out on our face, just energetically out of our mouth, when we can get a hold of that, your power is unstoppable, because you're not rubbing off your energy on the people that you lead, on your family, on your spouse. Like, you're capable. And so that's the biggest shift. And you can imagine that when you start to shift the way that you feel and capability of handling all of the emotions that come with being a high capacity person and a leader and often a parent, when you get a hold of that, oh my gosh, you're all smart people. So systems and the operational piece, the leadership skill sets, those are so easy to learn when you get a hold of you. So I'm curious, and when you kind of see this podcast, post some thoughts for me, send me an email. I want to hear, like, what are the things that are keeping you from getting a hold of your emotions? Like, how are you kind of getting stuck in lacking discipline, lacking system follow through because of the way your emotions are running the show? Because I can promise you, as somebody who is actively doing this work also, so I teach this work and I live this work. I am a mom, I am an entrepreneur, I am a student, I am a leader. Like, I have all of these things happening. I'm a friend, right? Like, there's so many titles we carry. This is possible, you guys. It is possible to build the life that you love, to build the business that you love, and that feels the way you want it to feel. Let me tell you, I have built a business before that did not feel the way I wanted it to feel. And I got into that business and I was like, is this what it is? Because this is not what I thought I was building. And all that passion you have in the beginning kind of starts to fizzle out and kind of light on fire, and not in a good way. But you can turn that around. You can turn that around when you get a hold of how you think, when you get a hold of how you regulate emotion, when you get a hold of how you invite people in, teach them to be leaders alongside you, when you get the right systems in place. You guys, this is the work. So if you're a business leader and you're trying to scale, you're trying to grow, you guys, you have to learn these things. Because if you don't, then, like, what are you building a business for? To not feel good in it? To not get the outcomes that you want? I know a lot of business owners who are struggling to hit the profit margins that they want. I know a lot of business owners who would give the business away. Like, here's the keys. And it's all because of the way that they feel. And you guys, you can change that. You absolutely can get control of your emotions. There is science, research-backed functionality things that you can do. We talk about nervous system. I'm such a geek for this. That's why I'm, like, choosing at 40 years old to go through my doctorate program and study something that's, I mean, in all honesty, some days I wake up and I'm like, what are you doing, Stephanie? Like, why are you taking on this load, this level of work? You have plenty of other things. And then I remind myself that I chose this, that I love this, that I'm inspired by the impact that this learning can have on other people, and that I'm fully capable. So hope that gives you some inspiration if you were in a season where things might not feel bad, but maybe they don't feel good either. And if you're a leader who wants support in this, send me a message. The best way to get me is on Instagram, Stef with an F_Fox. And let's talk about you getting in a leader lab, because this does not have to be your reality. If you like this episode, give us a follow, share it with a friend, and we'll make sure you catch the next one.